One key message would be that first of all, you should know what you would want to try, and it's completely okay to be as confused as possible.
Hello and welcome to PhD Talk Show. Today we have with us Prakriti Kalra, and today we'll be discussing about importance of internships in career decisions. Welcome Prakriti. Please introduce yourself.
So thank you so much, Virendra, for having me here. So to get started, like I am Prakriti, and currently I am working as an R&D scientist in a startup, immunitoAI, which is based in Bangalore. So we are doing a lot of artificial intelligence based work and working on the theme of antibody discovery. So I have been working there for the past couple of months as an R&D scientist. That's my introduction. And I recently, like last year in July, I returned from the US. I finished up my PhD in chemistry from University of Minnesota, and then I moved back to India. And ever since then, I have been working at immunitoAI. So it's a real pleasure to be here on this platform and share my views on this topic of internships and their importance in career growth because that is something that I'm really passionate about. I have been involved in like doing internships at various levels of my education career, and I, I feel it feels good to talk about it. So to get started, like in my BSc, so I by training I have all my degrees in chemistry. So did my undergrad in chemistry from St. Stephen's College under Delhi University. So even at that point, like in my first year, I really started exploring the possibility of doing a research internship. So doing like summer project under a professor in any esteemed institute. So there were at that time we didn't have like I was LinkedIn was there, but it was not so much popular. LinkedIn and Twitter amongst us, amongst college students. So that's why I had to go to the websites of individual institutes and see when they were processing applications for summer schools. And so I would say that one, like couple of them, as in there is one that is offered by Indian Academy of Sciences, a summer research fellowship. And then the one that I had applied to was this program. It's a very structured program at JNCSR. So it's called Project Oriented Chemical Education. That is for chemistry students. And there is another counterpart, which is Project Oriented Biological Education. And so I got into that program. It was a very structured 3 year program, and there were different things outlined for every year. And why I'm saying why I was so passionate about it is because I could really feel that at degree colleges, like I was studying at St. Stephen's. We had really good curriculum, awesome teachers. But these degree colleges, what they lack is this component of research. So if you are doing, say, your BS in or BSc in NISER or at IISc, then you get more exposure to research because your teachers there are actually researchers. They are professors who are working on cutting edge research. So you can directly interact with them and spend a summer in their lab. But that is not an option for us, students who are directly enrolled in degree colleges. That's why to bridge that gap, to get more research exposure, I really started focusing on looking for the summer internships in my first year itself. And that was the main reason why I kind of went and applied for this POSE program. So, as I said, POSE is very structured, like you get to do a lot of things. You get to meet a lot of people from good institutes, hear about their research, and then you get to do some experiments, give students seminars, then work in research labs as well. So, it's like you get a glimpse of how your PhD life would be because you're living amongst PhD students. You see them, how they live, and how they spend their day in the lab, what's their normal routine. So you kind of get a glimpse of how your future PhD life would be if you want to pursue that path. So that is a really good exposure, for a BSc student. And plus you get to meet students from all over India. It's like an awesome networking event. Like you get to meet so many people and you get to meet so many professors. And they will, like if you maintain those connections, those will help you a lot even in your future career goals as well. So those 3 years were like really good, I would say, very good experience for me in terms of learning and growth. And also, as I said, exploring my research interests. Like studying an organic chemistry concept is something else. But if you actually work on it in the lab, you actually get to see how an esterification reaction goes. That's a difference that you get to apply your theoretical concepts to actual novel problems. When you can do that application, it really boosts your confidence as well. It gives you a lot of, I would say, a lot of morale boosting, because you get to see that okay, now you are first year BSc student, but you can actually appreciate real world research problems. So that connection is really good, I would say.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing. And I think
Yeah,
you have a wonderful transition from chemistry and now to AI, which is a hot topic now. And as you mentioned, it looks like internship set up platform for your PhD. I think that that's very important. Like people should consider internships more into like exploring new avenues and
yeah,
exploring, yeah, fields which might interest them in future, and they could explore more into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Like for one thing, I would say that in my case, it kind of went a bit reverse. Like all of
Mm-hmm.
the internships that I did, I had a very strong focus on synthesis. Either it was synthesis, organic chemistry, synthetic inorganic chemistry. So by the time I reached my PhD, I knew that I don't want to pursue this field. So it's like I had prior exposure to it. So I knew that okay, this is not something I would want to do for the next 5 years. That's why I kind of switched more into biology realm
Mm-hmm.
and started working on chemical biology and all that, because out of all of my internships, biology was something I had not touched, so I really wanted to explore that for my
Mm-hmm.
PhD. So that's
Yeah.
how I think it worked in a slightly different way, but definitely my internship set me up really nicely for my PhD
I think, yeah,
career path.
this is more important because like I have seen many people who leave PhD
Mm,
halfway because they don't enjoy that anymore. If they do internship in that those fields before even like deciding whether to do PhD in that
mm.
particular field or not, that helps them save lot of time.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, so they could choose a better topic like you
Mhm.
did for their PhD. So,
And I would also like to talk a bit more about my foreign experience. Like in my MSc first year, after I finished that up, I got this really wonderful opportunity to go to Vancouver in Canada. So MyTax is a program that is offered by the Canadian government for a couple of countries, and India is one of them. So that like my 3 months that I spent, in Vancouver and neighboring areas. So I was living in Burnaby at that time, and I was working at
mhm,
Simon Fraser University. So that was also a different experience, not just about working with, like people from different nationalities and cultures, but also how do you stay by yourself, like in a foreign nation. That was another glimpse of how my PhD from a foreign country would look like, because I was staying all by myself, buying groceries, cleaning out my apartment, throwing away trash. And these are the things that you do when you are working as a PhD students from or pursuing PhD from the US. So coupled with working in the lab, that whole exposure was really good for me. So I would strongly suggest people to look for this option as well
yeah.
during their
This,
MSc.
yeah, this is something interesting you mentioned. So would you be able to share like more how people like could plan for such internships abroad?
Hmm. Plan for internships, I would say that you have to really look out for the timelines, because these applications, like, they come on a rolling basis. There is a strict timeline, and for my task there were also a lot of interviews. So you have to be aware of the timeline. So if you're really interested in it, you should always be in constant touch with your seniors, and you should maybe look out for these, start searching for these internship programs, like just doing Google search for what are internship opportunities available for MSc graduates or after MSc first year, and also be in touch with your seniors who have gone through some similar programs. So you really have to be very proactive, and you have to take some steps in a timely manner if you want to apply to a desired program or not. And nowadays, there is just so much of information out there on LinkedIn and Twitter. Like today only, I saw that JNCSR has posted the summer research fellowship applications. But those kind of tweets or that popularity of digital media was not there at my time. So I had to like be on the lookout and just look for those particular websites. And like apart from my tax, there is one that Germany offers, the DART program. So you have to be aware, be proactive and kind of start searching in advance if you want to really apply for these
Yeah.
opportunities.
That's good advice to be proactive rather than
Yeah,
just sitting and waiting for the opportunity. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so now you have experience of like doing work in US during your PhD, and currently you are based in India working in a startup. So
Hmm.
do you think internships played any role in setting you up for what you are doing now, or what students should expect out of internship experience?
So it really depends, like what level you are in. So say if I consider doing an internship at the BSc level versus doing an internship at the PhD level, your expectations would be different. So when you are a BSc student, you do an internship, then your expectations would be that you get to work under a professor, you work on a research project, you get to see how experiments are done in real time, how presentations are given, how you do literature search, how you compile your report and present it, defend the findings in front of say your lab and all. So that level of learning is also really good for a BSc student. But once when you are at a PhD level, so I didn't do a PhD at my internship, but in the US, this trend is really popular. So domestic students are enrolled in some fellowship programs by which they get to spend like 1 or 2 summers doing an internship either in an industry or say in another academic institute. So that also really helps them that they can either extend a part of their PhD project in that internship, or they can try something completely novel. Or as you said, like I'm working on an AI based startup. So I know a lot of students who are working on who are working in AI labs. They can say spend the summer doing AI in pharma, a pharma application or something like that. Even this person, I was reading this article today about Atomic AI, which is an RNA based drug discovery company, and how that person kind of spent one summer working with people from DeepMind. So he was able to really bridge that gap between his academic and industrial exposure. So at that level, you can make really strong connections. You can see a real world application of your PhD topic. And also that would help you a lot when you want to, switch over for your to your job, or if you want to get a job in industry sector. So expectations would vary depending upon what level you are in, what settings you apply, you do your internship in. But directly or indirectly, all of those experiences really help you to land where you are finally, like help you to make you this person you are in terms of scientific and also personal growth. So in all of those ways, internships offer, one low stakes exposure into how the real world would be, so that you can always make really informed decisions. You get prior, like it's like before going to the battlefield, you get prior exposure of how the actual day to day of your next phase would look like. So that way internships can be really helpful for someone.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts. So, as you moved from PhD in chemistry and now to AI based startup, do you think a internship in AI based company or a institute or lab might have helped you to do better in your current job? Or if someone is looking for job in AI or
Hmm.
machine learning based companies, do you think they should go for internship before joining company?
Yeah, I would support that. So in my case, what happened really is that my PhD, though it says chemistry, but I worked in a chemical biology lab. So I was heavily involved in like protein sciences and doing, proteins day in and day out, their characterization and all that. So I really like this opportunity of working in an AI-based startup was something that happened kind of all of a sudden. It's not like I was following my company for the past couple of months, and I really liked that idea, and I started reading more about it, and then that's how I gained interest in it. But definitely, if there would have been a chance, I would recommend this to someone to also do an internship in this area. But also, it would depend on how you look at it. Like where my level of interest in AI was is now more advanced as compared to what I had before. So it's like which one way or the other. For me, it was kind of an indirect transition, but if a person is really motivated that they want to try this out for their job, so definitely doing an internship would be highly recommended. Like people do that even in their PhD. For me, it was more about I really wanted to also complete my research projects. Like you have to balance that out, right? Summer is the best time where you get to also work on your research because you're not teaching anymore. So you really have to prioritize what you would want to do. But if someone wants to try a new area, definitely doing an internship. That goes without saying that it would help you for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And keeping a balance, I think, is
Hmm.
important, whether it's about internship, PhD, or job. So
Yeah.
maybe like we discuss different things. One last thing before we wrap up, one key
Hmm.
message to students who are looking for internship now.
One key message would be that first of all, you should know what you would want to try, and it's completely okay to be as confused as possible and then try out different things. I did internships all in research labs because I wanted to explore chemistry more. But in today's time, like if you want to explore non-scientific careers, science communication, scientific writing, even it's highly recommended that you do internships in those areas as well. So just know, like, what your likings are, and even if there are 5 areas that you would want to do, just go for it. Like there is no one stopping you. And again, kind of be proactive. Like in today's time, a lot of the students who are growing up, they should start using LinkedIn more frequently and start following Twitter. And again, be proactive for what you would want to do. So do that, realize your interest, and then take timely decisions, and that would help you a lot for building your future career.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Prakriti, for joining us today. And I
Yeah,
am,
thanks for having me.
yeah, I hope like it will be very useful to all students looking for internships, either in academia or industry.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot once again.